Okay, here we want to find the 7 ordered pairs to the equation y equals x squared minus 1, and then we're going to determine its graph. So here's our equation, and then here's the first value. So the values that are given for x are going to be the following. We have -3, -2, -1, 0, 1, 2, and then 3. And so what we want to do is we want to find out what is that first y value. So that means we're going to take y, and then we're going to plug in x. So x is going to be -3, so we're going to take -3, and then we're going to square it, and then subtract 1. Well, -3 times -3 is +9, minus 1 is going to give you 8. So therefore, the ordered pair for the first one is going to be -3, 8. Okay, the next one we're going to substitute the value of 2. So y is going to equal -2 squared minus 1. Well, -2 times -2 is +4, and then when we subtract 1, it's going to give us +3. And so therefore, the x value that we substituted was -2, and the y value that we end up getting was +3. Okay, next, we're going to go now substitute -1. So we're going to put in -1 in for x, so -1 squared minus 1. Well, -1 times -1 is +1, minus 1 is going to give us 0. So the ordered pair is -1 and 0. Okay, next we're going to plug in the value of 0. So we're going to get 0 squared minus 1. Well, 0 to any power is 0, and then subtract 1. If we take away 1, that gives us -1. So therefore we get 0 and then -1. Next, we're going to plug in the value of 1. So we're going to put 1 in, square it, and then subtract 1. When we square 1 times 1, we get 1 minus 1, which is going to equal 0. So therefore, the ordered pair is going to be +1, 0. Okay, next, we're going to plug in the value of 2. So y is going to equal 2 squared minus 1. Well, 2 times 2 is 4, and minus 1 gives you 3. So therefore, the ordered pair is going to be 2, 3. And then this last one, y, we're going to plug in 3 squared minus 1. Well, 3 times 3 is going to give us 9, minus 1 is going to give us 8. So therefore, the ordered pair is going to be 3, 8. Now let's go ahead and put this into our homework assignment to make sure that we're correct here. So let's go ahead and do that. We're going to come in here and then put in our answers. So we know that when we plugged in -3, we got a +8. And that checks. And then we have -2, and then we got a +3. And let's check that answer. Okay, and then we put in a -1, and we got a 0. And then we had a 0, and we got -1. And then we had a 1, and then we got a 0 for that. When we plugged in 2, we got the value of 3. So let's go ahead and check our answer there. And then we plugged in 3, we got a value of 8. Okay, so those represent the ordered pairs. And now what we want to do is we want to be able to put these ordered pairs and then graph them. So we're going to go ahead and graph them and then select which option it's going to be. So now that we have our graph, okay, we can now go ahead and then plot our points to check our graph to make sure that we're correct. So the first ordered pair is -3, +8. So we move to the left, and then we're up 8 units. So therefore, there's -3, +8. The next one is -2, +3. So therefore, there's -2, +3. Move to the left and 2, and then up 3. The next one is -1 and then 0. So we're going to move to the left, -1, and then we're not going to either move up or down because it's -1 or 0. The next one is 0, -1. So we start at 0, so we don't move either left or right, but we're going to go down 1 unit. So that's negative 1 there. Okay, then the next one is 1, 0, so that means we're going to move to the right 1 unit, and we're not going to go up or down. The next one is over 2 and then up 3, so we're going to go to the right 2 and then up 3 units. And the last one is we're going to go over 3 and then up 8. And so now let's go ahead and trace that graph. So there is our graph. Now let's go ahead and then make sure that we pick the right one. So obviously we're going to not include B or D because it doesn't look like that shape. A, you can see that this U shape is going down, so it looks like it's going to be C. So let's check C, check our answer, and then we're correct.